I'm really hoping that a change in season is just gonna up my rating. Hi, welcome, come on in. My name is Aoife, and today I am taking you through the 6 books that are on my TBR for spring this year. I like to set a couple of books aside for the 3 months every season, just so that I have something that I can go back to if I am feeling a little bit uninspired by what I'm reading, or it just gives me a couple of directions on where to go. These books just kind of felt like spring to me. Some of them are to do with the Buzzwordathon. Many of them I will be reading during the Irish Readathon, which happens every single March. And I am so excited to see how I'm going to get along with them. First book I would love to get to in spring is Battle Royal by Lucy Parker, not Battle Royale. This is not the book that is somewhat similar to the Hunger Games. This is something completely different. This is about Sylvie and Dominic. Sylvie was on Operation Cake a couple of seasons ago and she took the nation's hearts by storm. And Dominic is the favourite baker of His Majesty the King, and they have both caught the eye of Princess Rose, his daughter, who is about to get married. Princess Rose puts both of them against each other in a battle to see who is going to bake the royal wedding cake. And of course, while they are in the kitchen and things start to heat up there, things start to heat up outside the kitchen as well for Sylvie and Dominic. I know that Lucy Parker lives in New Zealand, but I don't know if she is from New Zealand herself. But I've never read an author who is from or living in New Zealand, so I'm really interested to get that country ticked off my list. But I'm also such a fan of a baking romance. I absolutely love Bake Off. I absolutely love MasterChef. So any book that has anything to do with food and cookery competitions in it is so up my street. Next up is my bittersweet pick, and that is Ashling Ever After by Sarah Breen and Emer McLysaght. I was sent this copy very kindly by the Publishers Guild, so thank you to them. This is the final book in the Ashling series, and it follows the titular Ashling on her adventures. When we left her in book 4, she had just moved to New York and she was setting up a new life for herself, and I don't know if she is still in New York or if she's going to come back. The last book relatively ended on a cliffhanger, so I'm really interested to see where we're going to go here. I have avoided everything for this book. I want to go into it completely blind. I have avoided spoilers. I have not looked at reviews. If anybody has been talking about it, I've taken myself out of the room. I want to go into this completely new, completely fresh, and I want to give Ashling the send-off she deserves. The next book I'd really like to try is In the Weeds by B.K. Barriston. This is the second book in the Inglewild or Love Like Farm series, and I absolutely loved the writing style of the first one, so I'm pretty sure that this one is going to work for me, even if it does have one of my least favourite tropes in it. This book is about Evelyn St. James, who came to Inglewild as the judge of a social media contest where she was finding a farm that gave the true meaning of Christmas and a really great Christmas spirit. While she was there, she discovered one of the town's residents is somebody that she had spent a night with a couple of months ago, and they had gone their separate ways. They hadn't kept in touch with one another. She's gone back to her hometown, and she is completely feeling in a rut. She is so uninspired. She has absolutely no idea what to do with her life. So she goes back to the place that she remembers being truly happy for the last time, Inglewild. While she's there, she reunites with her former lover. I'm not going to tell you who they were because it was quite a big reveal in Love Light Farms, but I really loved seeing the two of them catch up with one another and get back in touch with one another. So I'm really hoping that even though this book is technically a second chance romance, I'm gonna fall in love with this one too. Next up is Come and Get It by Kylie Reid. I read Such a Fun Age back in 2020 and I completely fell in love with it. It was so well written and it was so vibrant. So when I heard that she had a second book coming out, I instantly jumped on it. This book is about Millie, who is a resident assistant at the University of Arkansas, and all she wants to do is graduate, get out of there, buy a house, buy a car, settle down, all of that. However, a visiting professor comes to the university for a semester and basically throws all of Millie's plans on its head. She's targeted by a new group of students that she'd never heard of. She finds out that her friends are not the kind of people that she thought that they were, and maybe her plans are being scuppered a little bit. Like I said, I really loved Kylie Reid's writing style and I absolutely fell in love with it when I read Such a Fun Age, so I am super hopeful that this book is going to resonate just as much with me. Another series that I'm going to continue on for spring is Spring. This is the third book in the seasonal quartet by Ali Smith, and I'm going to be reading it with two of my friends, Amelia from Amelia Barlow Books and Shannon from 155 Books. We've read the first two in the quartet already. We've had mixed results for them, but I'm a little bit hopeful that we're going to go back on the upswing with this one. I don't actually know a whole lot about what this is about. I haven't been able to find a whole lot about it on the internet, but all of the books in the season of Quartet have had something to do with the vibe of the season that they're set in. So, winter was a whole lot about bleakness and dreariness. Autumn was a little bit about death and about changes. So, I'm imagining that spring is also going to be about changes, but it is going to be about rebirth and regrowth and renewal. And I am so intrigued to see where it's going to bring me. Finally, I am also going to read a book by a debut Irish author across spring. This is Spirit Level by Richie Craven, and if you are kind of familiar with Richie's name, he is the guy who brought us the M&S Christmas Eve thread from Christmas 2020, and it still lives in my brain rent-free to this day. So if the humor of that is anything like what's going to be in this book, I think I'm in for a good one here. This book is about Danny. He is in his 20s. Life seems to be kind of falling to pieces around him, and it all culminates when his best friend is killed in a car accident. Danny kind of drowns his sorrows in pint after pint after pint and discovers that when he's drunk, he can see ghosts. When Danny discovers this, he finds out that he is the one who is tasked with bringing his best friend to the other side and finding out why Nudge is still hanging around and what unfinished business he had here. I am so intrigued by the concept of this book. It sounds very Sixth Sense in a way, and I am so intrigued to see how it's going to go out, but I have a very strong feeling this book is going to be incredibly funny. I have got a copy of the art coming my way from the publisher, so thank you to Eru Publishing for sending me a copy out. I am genuinely so excited to get started on this one. Those are the books that I would really love to prioritize across February, March and April. Are there any of those books that you have already read, or are there any of those that you would also be interested to read? If you would love to leave me a comment but you can't think of anything you'd like to say, then just leave me one of the spring flower emojis. Don't forget to like and subscribe because I have new videos up every week. Now, get on out of here.